Howdy there kids, this is Mr. Bruff reporting for duty, and today we're going to be exploring one of my favourite stories from the GCSE anthology on seeing the 100% perfect girl one beautiful April morning by Japanese author Haruki Murakami. Now obviously this is some really exotic stuff to be looking at kids, but we're going to look at it anyway because no holds barred here on the Bruff podcast at youtube.com/BruffPlaysMinecraft. So in this story, the author Murakami explores the themes of finding someone that is just 100% perfect, as the title suggests. However, I mean, beauty is in the eyes of the beholder. I should know this myself. I am, of course, the beautiful Mr. Bruff. And people have told me, Bruff, you're quite an attractive man. Surely you must get a lot of attention from the ladies. You're a very attractive man. Surely you've got lots of luck with the ladies. To which I say, some ladies have experienced the Bruffmeister, some have not. But to me, I know that I'm 100% perfect inside. Anyway, that's besides the point. A man sees an average looking woman on the streets. He thinks, this is me, in woman form. I have connected with my soulmate right here on the streets of Harajuku, Tokyo. And really, he's not. This lady does not know he exists. This lady has no idea of this poor man's struggle in his heart for this average looking lady. And, well, the author really does emphasise this point with lines such as, no one can insist that his 100% perfect girl corresponds to some preconceived type. He is very picky about this 100% perfect girl, despite knowing nothing about her, despite knowing absolutely zero about what goes on in her completely average, not 100% perfect life. Really, what he's seen is an unrealistic image of a completely unknown stranger, and he shouldn't be thinking these things in order to keep a sane mind. The fantasy that he's conjured up in his head is not worth thinking of, and only really generates a negative image for himself. But that's just what I've thought from my experience with fantasies like this. The way he describes this girl is almost as unrealistic as the fantasy itself. For example, the line, like an antique clock built when peace filled the world. A sign of such wonderful antiquity, such craftsmanship, and such splendour to be in a world like that. It's unattainable, just like this fantasy and just like this girl. Hence why he can only think fantasy thoughts about her. But that's just life, I suppose. When the story finally reaches its conclusion, he starts to dip back into reality, and perhaps back into what he should be thinking, because this reality, this fantasy world, is not a world anybody really wants to be in, because it's not a world they can be in. See, the line, was it really alright for one's dreams to come true so easily, really hits home for this author. It really tells us something about how wants do not actually overcome what you have in your life. You always want what you can't have, and that's what this story is all about. Good night, children.